Now, as you can imagine, that post did not go over well with the Iranians or with many Americans. I mean, I don't know about you, but I am sick of this shit.
Megyn Kelly, you sick of it? Huh? You sick of it? Imagine how sick the people must be who saw this in 2024. Imagine how sick the people must be who saw this in 2020. Imagine how sick the people must be who saw this a decade ago. Imagine how sick they must be. Now, I see how you're looking at the camera. Okay, so I see you can't imagine how sick they must. I see exactly that sick. Exactly that sick, Megyn Kelly. Shout out to all the subscribers and the members here on the channel. Don't forget to like the video. My name is Reese Waters, and I'm troubled.
Trump always chickens out.
I'm sorry, come again?
Trump always chickens out.
They got Japan on our helmet too? We brought China, Japan, Iran, Canada, France, all together for the dragon? At least they ain't say nothing about that thing on his head. Arasatoya, Japan's popular free clip art library, has released its latest creation in honor of United States President Donald Trump. It's a clever play on taco, Trump always chickens out, and the Japanese word for octopus, which also means idiot. They better at this than us. They better at this than us. They said octopus. Is that why he always does his mouth like that? Is that why he always? It's kind of like a little octopus suction thing. All right, I'm gonna keep it real with you. When it comes to the ceasefire deal, I opted not to go with taco slander. In the aftermath of Trump's humiliating failure in Iran yesterday, many of his critics have decided to lob a familiar insult, taco. But this acronym misses the fact that the president is a demented maniac whose bluffs are causing profound damage to the country. That is correct. And also, I was ready and willing to excoriate him should he move forward with his unhinged threats. So I decided it would show a bit of a lack of integrity for me to mock him for doing the opposite. You know, I don't necessarily want to mock him for not wiping out a civilization.
According to Chairman Kaine, but you mentioned the 8 previous conflicts that Trump tackled. So Democrats are already saying that this is taco. Trump always chickens out. Let me give you another acronym. Nacho. Never avoids confronting hard obstacles. And that's exactly what President Trump did.
I'm hungry.
He went in.
I know,
I made that up on my own.
We could tell. Ain't nobody willing to claim that. Nacho, that's what you went with? Did you tell anybody you was going to say that before? You didn't, nobody would, you should get a circle in your life. That's what you need. Let me find out they got a whole team working on Mexican food analogies. That is the kind of thing that this administration would devote a team to. We've seen their use of our taxpayer dollars prior to this point. Yeah. That's why they dragging us. That's exactly. And you know what? I was going to stand in the way. You know what? Go ahead with the dragon. Go ahead with it. They deserve it. They deserve it. How about tamales? Trump always makes Americans look even sillier. How about mole? My old lady's everything. That don't have nothing to do with Trump. I'm just in the doghouse, so I'm trying to help myself out with that. The U.S. ambassador to the UN's comments didn't go over too well. Booing and jeers after the American ambassador to the UN says America is the peacekeeper of the world.
War, chaos, violence, and more unsafe world comes to mind. But if we're being honest, that's also the world that we're living in now. With the UN. So my friends across the street worry that with President Trump's peacemaking,
I bet Mike Walsh hope he was back on Signal Chat. They wasn't booing on Signal Chat.
What time is it?
yeah, please.
It's been 7 hours. Look, this is going on for like 13 minutes.
Come on, is your Dow still up 50,000?
Praise be to Allah.
So just humor me for a
In the
second.
words of our president.
Tomorrow, I'm anticipating that.
Yeah, they never gonna live that down. No, they never gonna live that down. Ruin Easter. Yeah. You know what? Sometimes you gotta take a booing. Sometimes you gotta take a booing. You know, hey, I'm a Wizards fan. I know. Sometimes you gotta take a booing in order to motivate you to get right. That's it's healthy. It's good for you. Now here's ultimately why I'm troubled.
You actually believe that? I mean, you believe they were looking for a pilot. That's a nuclear site where all of their uranium was being held is a few miles away, and you think they were looking for a pilot. Just shut up. Do you think that too?
Oh.
Do you believe they were looking for a lost pilot? They used all those assets, 100 boots on the ground, because they were looking for a pilot. That's normal procedure. Yeah. You be quiet. I don't want to hear anything from you. That's crazy. I mean, people still believe that?
My bad.
People still think that they were looking for a pilot? Oh, come on. Come on. You don't buy that, do you? The nuclear plant where the uranium's probably being held was a few miles away, and you think they were looking for a pilot. Oh, just down the road. Just happened to be down the road from where all the uranium is. You can't be serious.
So here's why I'm troubled. As you guys know, I went live and was chatting and gave a whole response to Trump's press conference on the miraculous no man left behind, daring pilot rescue behind enemy lines, written by Michael Bay. Like, I went live for that whole entire thing, and I made a whole video, and I was talking about how Trump was contradicting himself. He wasn't making sense. But at no point did I question the actual mechanics of the rescue, which was a critical mistake because I knew exactly who we were dealing with, okay? Oh, look, another one. New York Times has obtained video appearing to show that an ICE agent lied when he claimed he was attacked by an illegal immigrant with a shovel in Minneapolis. The ICE director says it appears 2 agents involved lied under oath. Both are now on administrative leave. I forgot who we was dealing with. I totally forgot who we was dealing with, and I was ceding to military personnel. It's kind of like when you don't have the expertise, you just cede to the people that know about these things. You know what I mean? I try and use common sense. It kind of reminds me of when I was in high school and the senior told me that he met some girls at cross country camp, and he became a man that day, and he used a coffee filter, and that's a true story. And it's one of the most embarrassing moments of my life because I didn't realize that I had announced to him how far away I was from actually experiencing that I didn't challenge that at all. I just was like, yeah. It made, I had no reason to think. I had no reason to think. It's the, you know what I mean? I ain't asked the right questions. Hell no.
Well, Let's talk about this pilot that was shot down over Iran that the U.S. government did an extraction on. You all realize it's bullshit, right? Let me explain why. One, his plane was shot down in one area, and he was picked up 114 miles away from it. How did he get 114 miles in 24 hours if, as Donald Trump said, he was injured? That's number one. Number two, the U.S. government used a total of 4 C-130 planes to go get him. Supposedly, we landed at a unused Iranian airbase. There's not an unused Iranian airbase anywhere in Iran right now. That's number two. Number three, they said that 2 of the planes had to be blown up so they didn't fall into foreign hands. Once again, bullshit. Number three, we have seen no evidence of the pilot. He has not been brought out for any propaganda purposes, which you know that Donald Trump would be doing to prove that he did something to save an American's life. That's another one. Number four, where did this plane snatch happen? At one of the nuclear holding facilities that Iran has. Once again, you're going to tell me it was unguarded? This was a snatch and grab for uranium that went bad for the United States. Douchebag Donnie doesn't want to admit it because then once again he has to admit that he fucked up. Pete Hegseth doesn't know what he's doing, and the American public is being lied to by our government. Why else did the U.S. government tell the satellite companies they want us to not be able to see any satellite imagery from the war? They did this effective immediately when this bullshit plan happened.
Now, those are the right questions to ask. And you know what? He had me when he was talking about propaganda. He had me when he was talking about propaganda, the fact that this man has not been identified and exploited already. This the same president that had AI video of himself playing hockey to drop the moment they won the gold medal and flew them in to squeeze it for all it was worth. And this pilot has yet to be named, identified, otherwise questioned at all. That's a pretty good test case for Trump. That's a pretty good test case for Trump. Whether or not something is on the level has he exploited it or not? That's pretty much, does he want to talk about it or not? The more that's coming out about this pilot rescue, it's looking like a massive disaster of a failed operation that the Pentagon is lying about that had nothing to do with rescuing a general. Independent journalists need to prod this Top Gun narrative. This may explain why Trump was enraged on Easter and demanding an end to satellite imagery. Top Gun? More like Naked Gun. So if I got that right, here's the narrative. A U.S. F-15E fighter jet got shot down over Iran, despite Trump saying 2 days beforehand in his nationwide address that Iran has no anti-aircraft equipment. Their radar is 100% annihilated. Yup, you did say that. The plane's weapons systems officer, a highly respected colonel, according to Trump, ejected from the plane and got seriously wounded. Still, according to Trump, he still managed to hike up a 7,000-foot mountain ridgeline and hide in a crevice in the Zagros Mountains despite his wounds. U.S. MQ-9 Reaper drones started killing, quote, all Iranian military-aged males believed to be a threat who got within 3 kilometers of the American's location. To retrieve him, the U.S. managed to seize an abandoned airport 200 miles deep inside Iran near Isfahan, which happens to be where Iran's largest atomic scientific center is located. They landed 2 MC-130 military transport planes in that airport in an operation involving hundreds of special forces troops and military personnel. Interesting. It puts a new spin on that exchange where he asked how many people were involved, and he didn't want to say. We thought it was for security purposes. Might have been just that he hadn't done the warm-up improv exercise. Maybe that's what that is. He wasn't warmed up yet. Both MC-130 planes got stuck in the sand, and the U.S. destroyed them themselves to prevent them from falling into Iranian hands. They deployed 3 new aircraft to extract all the U.S. personnel on the ground. There are videos circulating online of heavy clashes with presumably Iranian missiles raining down in the Zagros Mountains during that night. Iran sent pictures of the aftermath at the abandoned airport, and it's a site of utter destruction, with U.S. plane and MH-6 helicopter parts scattered all over the ground, still smoking. Iran claims they are the ones who, in fact, destroyed all the aircraft. That would make more sense. That would make more sense. Yeah. And if that's not the case, it would also make more sense for you not to be pounding your chest about exploding 2 of our own aircraft. Because of sand. Meanwhile, a second U.S. plane, a A-10 Warthog, also crashed on Friday near the Strait of Hormuz, according to 2 U.S. officials speaking to the New York Times. In that instance, too, the lone pilot was apparently safely rescued. And all this after the multiple planes and helicopters destroyed or shot down, the documented heavy clashes, the hundreds of special forces troops and military personnel operating deep inside Iran. Not a single U.S. soldier was reported killed or even wounded, according to Trump. And the highly respected colonel this was all for, no name, no photo, no interview. Nobody has spoken to him, nor knows who he is. He probably in training. No, not military training, improv training. He probably going to an improv camp so that he can come out and be able to, on his feet. That's probably, yeah. To sum it up, anti-aircraft equipment that supposedly didn't exist shot down an F-15 and apparently an A-10 Warthog the same day. A seriously wounded man climbed a 2.1 kilometer mountain. The U.S. seized an airfield 200 miles inside a country it's at war with, next to one of its most strategic nuclear sites, and deployed hundreds of troops, all apparently unimpeded. Lost 2 planes to sand and destroyed their own helicopters. Videos show heavy clashes, missiles raining down, but not a single person got even wounded. And the man at the center of it all, nobody knows who he is, completely anonymous, 0 pictures, but Trump says he's safe and sound. And so is the rescued A-10 Warthog pilot, who also remains anonymous. Trump concludes this all proves the U.S. has achieved overwhelming air dominance and superiority over the Iranian skies, despite the whole episode only happening because Iran shot his planes out of the sky. Basically, the only thing that's overwhelming here is the audacity of the storytelling. I failed. I failed, y'all. I'm be honest. I failed, y'all. I just, cause I ain't never been in the military. I didn't know what questions to ask. I mean, come on. What I look like going in and watching action, but that's not realistic. I'll be at home. You know what I mean? I should have knew, man. I should have known. But one thing I do know, if this was something that needed to be dramatized and promoted to push propaganda, it's something underneath it.
There was no downed pilot. That entire story is a cover-up story. It's complete and total bullshit. They're trying to cover up the fact that we just failed a special operation to try and capture the enriched uranium within Isfahan. You expect me to believe that the crash site was 110 miles away from where you picked up this pilot? He was gone for what? 24 hours? And you want me to believe that this pilot marched 110 miles and then climbed a mountain? And also, why don't you tell us the pilot's name? And also, why did you need a C-130 with 100 troops in it and 4 little birds and a Reaper drone and multiple Blackhawks to get one guy? One guy! And then you'll leave that shit behind? What? Oh, no, we blew up the C-130 and a couple of helos. We didn't want them to get it. Bullshit. You didn't blow up shit. I wonder how many of our boys died during this operation. I'm calling it complete and total bullshit. There was no downed pilot. Trump failed a special operation to try and infiltrate Isfahan.
And I can tell you one thing. If it is a cover-up, they're going to have to go hard at the media, which he did. Trump threatened to jail whoever leaked the missing pilot story. Turns out it was Netanyahu's favorite journalist, Amit Siegel, one of Israel's most influential political commentators and a journalist so close to Netanyahu that the PM reportedly offered him a cabinet position. Just confirmed on Telegram, he broke the story about the second missing airman. Trump blamed the leak for tipping off Iran, which then offered bounties for the pilot's capture. Will Trump follow through on his threat against an Israeli journalist connected to the government he's fighting alongside, or does this quietly disappear? The answer will tell you a lot about how this alliance actually works. Trump, you keeping that same energy? You keeping that same energy? Huh? You know how much Netanyahu leading you around by the collar content there is out there? Huh? From your side of the aisle too. Huh? Are you standing on business or not? Or are these threats only for Americans? It's a nice position that you put yourself in there. And by the way, that's before we even get to the deal you made. Iran deal by Obama. Strait of Hormuz open for free. Limits uranium enrichment. They agree to make no nuclear weapons. Allows international inspectors to ensure compliance. And inspectors confirm Iran's full compliance. The deal made by Trump. Strait of Hormuz closed, only open for $2 million per ship. No guarantee of a limit on uranium enrichment. No guarantee of no nuclear weapons. No guarantee to allow international inspectors. MAGA, Trump playing 5D chess, the art of the deal.
Now, as you can imagine, that post did not go over well with the Iranians or with many Americans. I mean, I don't know about you, but I am sick of this shit.
Megyn Kelly, you sick of it? Huh? You sick of it? Imagine how sick the people must be who saw this in 2024. Imagine how sick the people must be who saw this in 2020. Imagine how sick the people must be who saw this a decade ago. Imagine how sick they must be. Now, I see how you're looking at the camera. Okay, so I see you can't imagine how sick they must. I see exactly that sick. Exactly that sick, Megyn Kelly.
I'm sick of it. Can't he just behave like a normal human? I mean, honestly, like the president, 3D, yes, shut up. Shut up about that shit.
Oh, no way, Megyn Kelly. No way, Megyn Kelly. We gonna circle back around to you. You sit down there and eat your food. You said what about Obama? So let me see if I understand this correctly. Barack Obama negotiated a deal with Iran that lifted sanctions on their country in exchange for international monitoring of their weapons program, along with several other concessions. Donald Trump came into office and unilaterally blew up that deal. Now, a decade later in his second term, Trump has, without the approval of Congress, initiated an unprovoked military attack on Iran, and in order to end said conflict, is demanding Iran comply with a number of self-serving proposals, many of which were already covered under Obama's initial deal. Did I leave anything out? Yeah, I got one. Important reminder, Obama got Iran to halt its nuke program without closing the Strait of Hormuz and unaliving little girls. You know what? Why don't I just throw one more at you? Just one more to throw at you. Hormuz is open if you pay $2 million. Before the war, it was free. And it seems Iran can keep all the uranium it already has. You know, why don't we keep the party going? Everybody having a good time. Leopards eating face-flavored popcorn. Ah, yes. And that's the part where we circle around to MAGA.
It's important for people to remember that the Strait of Hormuz was not controlled in a literal sense by Iran prior to those U.S. Israeli joint military strikes that kicked off this entire conflict several weeks ago. Iran responded to those strikes by closing the Strait of Hormuz, and it appears that this ceasefire is predicated, at least in part, on the legitimization of Iran's control of that key waterway, and that goes with an implication of if the waterway can be opened temporarily, Iran likely could reclose the strait should negotiations not progress in a way that they see fit.
So wait a minute. They did not have control of the Strait of Hormuz prior to all of this. And now it was a flex just for Trump to say that the people who didn't previously have control over the thing have since opened it. That must be the art of the deal. That must be the art of the deal. Yeah, that's why Trump, when he loses buildings, he still got control. But I still got control. You know. See, prior to the bankruptcy, I didn't have my funds, but now with the bankruptcy, now I got my funds. That's Trump logic. That's good. That is good. That is good Trump logic right there. Well, I can tell you one thing. You better make sure y'all get this messaging straight. I'm just playing. I know you won't. Y'all got Caroline Levin in charge. Many people are saying it sure looks like the White House wrote this for Pakistan's prime minister, who posted it, then quickly deleted the top part. Let me see. Draft. Pakistan's prime minister message on X. He left a draft. You know, I assume that there are many eyes on public communiques that go out on behalf of world leaders. Clearly, that's not the case with us. I didn't think other countries was following us down that rabbit hole. Let me guess, Pakistan. It was a staffer. It was a staffer that had press go on. Hey, we'll tell either the prime minister or the staffer, once you put the post out with the draft at the top of it, it's over. It's over. No, it's over. Once you put the post out with the draft, no, just move on to something else. Start posting about soccer or something like that. Y'all going to the World Cup? I'm just playing. I know y'all now. Just start posting about cricket or whatever. You know what I mean? Just don't. It's over. Don't do that.
I mean, I don't know about you, but I am sick of this shit.
Oh, MAGA. This is a whole mess, isn't it? Megyn Kelly, this is a whole mess, is it not? I mean, the war was unpopular in the beginning. He went completely unhinged on Easter, violating anybody that truthfully holds their faith dear, threatened a whole civilization. Now you have the story about the pilot unraveling, and that story's only going to grow legs. And then you have this ceasefire deal. You know, I'm saying, they say it's hard out here for a pimp. It's hard to be in a MAGA them. It's hard to imagine having to change your reality every 3 to 6 hours. Like, imagine what that must be like. The fate of tens of thousands of Iranian protesters who believed Trump's words earlier this year has already been forgotten. Now, I mentioned that this story with both the pilot and the ceasefire are only going to get bigger. And the fracture in MAGA, let's make that the trilogy, is only going to get wider. That's right. From Roger Stone, Laura Loomer reportedly despondent over her failure to goad President Trump into World War III, killing millions. Laura Loomer, you gonna take that? Stop spewing IRGC talking points. You disrespect Trump when you repeat the lies he's getting into World War III that are masterminded by your friend Tulsi Gabbard, and the lies spread by your buddies Tucker Carlson and Alex Jones, who want the 25th Amendment to be used against Trump. Hey, Roger Stone, no quarter. No quarter. Let the chopper sing. Laura, you're delusional and slipping into insanity. I've known Donald Trump for 50 years. You've known him for 50 minutes. He was revolted when you spread the rumor that you were having sex with him. I think that's the most humanizing Donald Trump anecdote we've ever heard. I think that is the most human. They should have led with that one. They should have led with that one. If they would have led with that one on the campaign trail, yeah. I may now be forced to sue you, giving me access to all your financial records while I'll find out who's been financing your serial lies. This will be really fun since no lawyer will agree to represent you, and the only lawyer who will rep you, Larry Klayman, has been suspended from the practice of law by the bar and all relevant jurisdictions. Stop calling yourself an independent investigative journalist because you're paid to post your BS on social media, and we both know what women who are paid to do things are called. Hey, Roger Stone, I didn't know you had that in you, dog. I didn't know you had that in you, dog. I had no idea. That was disgusting. The idea of it, but solid work. Honestly, that was, whoo, boy. And she went crying to Mark Levin. Wait, is she crying or is he crying? Mark Levin's not happy about the ceasefire.
People of Iran. What are we going to just leave them there? There's nothing that we can do and we're going to wash our hands over that? That to me is morally very difficult to accept. And then what about the proxies, Hezbollah? I was reading these statements. Hezbollah has killed more Americans than Iran directly. Hezbollah is Iran. Hezbollah is firing missiles into Israel by the hundreds still. And here we have a ceasefire that they've already broken.
Hey, Nick Fuentes. Hey, Mark Levin. You heard Mark Levin? Okay. Hey, hit him while he down now. He vulnerable.
I'm furious. I'm absolutely beside myself and furious. The way Mark Levin talks about this country, he should be deported. Not because you're Jewish, not because you're fat, not because you're gay, not because you're a pussy. Mark Levin should be deported because of the way he talks about this country. Where does he get off? The way he says, it's only off the table if we say so. Who the f*** do you think you are? You whiny, grating, odious, disgusting, fat piece of shit traitor. Where do you get off? Damn you. And I apologize for that. As a Christian, we shouldn't curse people, but seriously, damn you. How dare you say that? This is the United States of America. He says, little Adolf, who were his ancestors? You know who my ancestors were? Joe Cairo, okay? When my ancestors got here, they kissed the ground when they got off the boat.
No, don't jump in. Don't jump in. Don't jump in. Let them fight. Let them fight. Let them get it out their system. Where's that leopard with the face flavored popcorn? Hey, throw some popcorn in my mug?